All right, good evening, everybody. It is March 18th, and tonight's call is going to be based on or all about inviting. We're going to talk about inviting, and Dan's going to give us some sample invites. Beth may also throw in some sample invites as well. And then we're going to talk about basically a document that we were given in order to, for our team to use, and it's from Anita Myron, who's number 6 in the company last year. So she's one of the top 10 coaches, and she's doing something right. So that's all these files and all these documents. If you want to follow along with them, Anita's is in the Stay True page under Files, and you should be able to see. All the I'm reading all the texts that are coming across the messages. It's breaking up. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know if that's me or your connection. So
can you guys hear us or no?
Give us a thumbs up if you can hear clear. Good? Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. Dan, if you want to go ahead and start off with telling us about inviting and the methods you've been using and what you've had success with.
Yeah, thank you. First, I want to start this call by saying congratulations to the newer coaches. I see Tiffany on here and I see Christine on here. Welcome to the team. So excited that you guys have made that decision, and I'm seeing a lot of new faces the last few weeks, which is exciting because that means that somebody invited you to do this, right? Somebody invited you to try Shakeology. Somebody invited you to try Beachbody. Somebody invited you to check out a free sneak peek coach group. And it wasn't anything that was too complicated, right? And I think that's going to be one of the main things that I want to touch on as we talk tonight. Don't make it too complicated. Inviting really is about relationships. I think sometimes we put too much pressure on ourselves to have some kind of special formula when really all we need is wisdom. Sometimes wisdom outweighs formula. So be smart in how you approach people. If you care about people and you're building relationships and you truly care about the people that you're reaching out to, then the invite process becomes a little bit easier. Now, that being said, we do have plenty of files where we have sample invite scripts. I posted one in the team page the other day just to kind of get prepared for this call. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to look at it, but those really are just some simple examples that I use on a regular basis. And if you had a chance to open that file, and it's something that I'm going to go over here again, and I know we've talked about it in a couple other calls, but it's always nice when we have new people on to reiterate this stuff, because the invite process isn't something that is constantly recreated, but it is something that constantly needs to be a reminder of, so that you are continuously doing that. So as we go through this, I want you just to remember, don't get overwhelmed. If you're new coaches, there's so much information coming at you right now. If you really break this business down, it comes down to the 3 vital behaviors. And I know you're going to hear that a lot. You're going to hear us say it a lot. And there was even a point in this process where I was like, come on, every big time coach says 3 vital behaviors. We already heard that. We know that. Well, the point is, it's true. When you get overwhelmed and you get into this place of craziness, you need to remember those 3 vital behaviors, which are be a product of the product, which means you do your workouts, you do your shakes, do personal development, which means you continue to work on you, which getting on these calls, staying plugged in, that is part of personal development, because this is where you can ask questions. This is where you can learn. And then the 3rd vital behavior is, which one did I forget? Oh, invite, what we're talking about today. So those are really the 3 simple things that you need to remember in this business. There's going to be times when you're overwhelmed. Don't let it get to you. Step back to those things. Reach out to your upline coach and say, I'm overwhelmed. And they're going to say, go back to the basics. You probably heard me say it a couple of times, right, Tina Hoffman? Just shake of the head. Yes. Don't get overwhelmed. So really what I want to focus on when we talk about the invite process, at least when I talk about my invite process, is the relationship. You have to know the person, right? If you're going to reach out to somebody, you have to know, 1, why you're reaching out to them, 2, what it is that you're kind of asking them to join or to be a part of, and why it will benefit them. If you keep the other person in mind first, others focused, if you stay others focused, it will make the invite process a whole lot easier. So if you did have a chance to open that file, if you didn't, you can write this down. If you don't want to write it down, you just want to pay attention, it's in Stay True in the files, or on the the post that I put the other day, and maybe I'll add that to a file so it makes it easier to find. But really, 5 questions you want to ask yourself. And I literally do use this process. So what I'm telling you today is probably nothing new that you ever heard or if you've heard from me, but this is the process that I use. In the 5 questions, I got this from Trina Gray. This wasn't something she shared this at Summit, but it was something that really sparked in me, like, that's a great idea. That's how I should be looking at this invite process. So the 5 questions were, why did you think of them? Why did you think of that person? You know, why did you choose to reach out to them? Because when you made a list of people that you wanted to reach out to in starting this business, there had to be a reason why you thought of that person. Or it might have just been you went through your friends list and you picked 10 names because it just was the easy thing to do. But either way, once you've picked those names, now go back and look at them and say, okay, why did I think of this person? Why might this be a good opportunity for them? And I'll share you some examples as we get through this. The second question is, what is in it for them? You know, they have to understand that if they do say yes to this invite, if they do take the bait, so to speak, and say, okay, what are you doing? What is in it for them? Number 3, what do you love? What do you love about it that relates to them? Number 4, how can you help them overcome barriers? And when we talk barriers, you're going to come across them. If you're new coaches, you're already dealing with some of them. You're going to have cost. You're going to have time. You're going to have commitment. You're going to have people buying other places instead of your website, which is obviously frustrating, right? We've experienced that this week, some of us, and it happens. But these are barriers that are going to come up constantly. They're nothing new. They're going to constantly happen. You need to be prepared for them. And that is part of where the personal development part comes into this whole process, is understanding that if those things take place, it doesn't change our main goal of helping other people. Even if they do buy something somewhere else, we're still going to help that person. We're still going to be their coach. And we're going to continue to help them, because then they're going to want to come into what it is that we have going, and they're going to start referring people. And there's a lot of good things that can happen off that, but you got to stay positive. So how do you help them overcome their barriers? Know what they are before you invite them. So if you know you're dealing with somebody who's, you know, I know that 90% of the people I reach out to are going to say, how much? It's too expensive. I can't afford it. So if I can add in that invite process, kind of start to plant the seed that there is a way to overcome that barrier, they're going to be more likely to say yes. And then number 5, show them amazing service by knowing them. And I think that was definitely my favorite part, is Trina shared this at Summit. She said, use a PS, PS or by the way. And I usually go the by the way route. So, if I'm on their Facebook page and I'm checking out what they have going on, or I see they're posting pictures of the kids, there's always going to be something at the end of that invite that says, by the way, the kids look great. Or by the way, your vacation looks so fun. It looked like you guys had a blast. Or by the way, how is so-and-so? How's that going? Whatever's going on in their life, show them that you do know what's going on in their life. If you just kind of randomly pick a name and you throw an invite out there, but you had no clue what they're going through right now, and maybe you said, hey, what's up? Just wanted to check in, see what you got going on. And then you find out they had some tragedy happen in their lives, but it's been all over Facebook, but you didn't know about it. It's one of those things where they're probably not going to respond to you because they don't feel like they really truly, you truly do want to know how they're doing. So you have to be, go ahead.
Question for you. In that, by the way, the PS, do you often ask a question so then they feel obligated to reply to you?
Sometimes it just depends, because if you're tracking who you're inviting, if you have that name, those list of 10 people that you've sent those invites to, and you keep an eye on them, and you realize, oh, you know what? I sent that invite 2 days ago and so didn't reply. I may just send out another one and said, hey, just checking in, see if you got my message.
Right.
And that becomes the question that says, oh, you know what? That's right. He did message me. Maybe I should just respond. Yeah, I got it. Sorry, been so busy. And 90% of the time, that's going to be the response. I did get it. I'm so sorry. I'm so busy. Life's been crazy. Everybody's life is crazy, right? We're all crazy. We all have kids. We have jobs. We got extracurricular stuff. I mean, I was rushing to get home to get on this call because we have, midweeks at church on Wednesday nights. So, I mean, that's why I'm always jumping on this call at 9 p.m. I mean, I'm getting on at 9, because by the time I get home and put the kids down, it's crazy, right? everybody has crazy. So understand, that's the other thing I want you guys to understand in this process is your invite is not their top priority. It's not their top priority. They get a message inbox and they're like, oh, hey, message from Dan. Hey, just was wondering if you knew anybody that was interested in doing a 30-day challenge fitness. They'll be like, oh, that sounds kind of cool, but I don't have time to worry about that right now. So it's going to get pushed aside. So you have to follow up. What do they say? Fortune is in the follow-up. If you just send one invite, chances are the invite will get lost. So you have to constantly be willing to follow up. And until they reply back to you, yes, no, leave me alone, get lost, you have every right to keep following up. You're not pestering them. People's lives are busy, and they just did not make you a priority, and that's okay. But the point is that you still have the ability to continue to reach out to them in hopes that they do respond. And they may even respond and say, you know what, I don't think it's not going to work for me right now. So then the follow-up is, okay, no problem, totally understand. Life is crazy, I totally get it, but if this ever is right for you, I would like to be a part of it. Do you mind if I keep reaching out? Do you mind if I reach out in another month? And they're going to say yes. Or if they really don't want to do it, they'll just say no. And then you move on, because that's somebody who's not ready. But the seed's been planted. And one day, if they ever do need you, they're going to know that you invited them. So again, the point that I want to make in this invite process is it's about the relationship that you're building. Okay, because if you do just a one invite and then forget about it, one, they're probably not going to respond right away. And two, you're going to forget that you invited them unless you're tracking it. But if you're tracking it, that means you're keeping eyes on them. That means you're following up. That means you're building a relationship. Does that make sense? And then when they do accept your invite and they respond, that's when Anita Myron's process comes in. And I know that, Glenn, I think you wanted to touch on that some. And I will take questions on the invite process, and I'll share some of those, but I don't want to take up 30 minutes of doing this process and miss out on that. So,
right. Yeah, no, I think this is going to be a good overview. And if you guys want more details of the 5-step process and everything, we can give that to you. But this will be pretty much a overview of what we're talking about here. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen real quick. Can everyone see the sample process of making the sale after the invite? Is that on everyone's screen?
Yep.
All right, cool. So this is Anita's document here. And basically what I wanted to point out she lays it out for us here, okay? She's telling us basically the messaging or the messages. You can copy and paste these right to your messages in response to their, messages to you. So basically the thing you want to do though is make sure you're personalizing it. You don't want to take the personalization out of this whole process. So pay attention to, what their goals are and what they want to get out of this group or out of this, whether it's a free coaching group, whether it's a challenge group, whatever it is, make sure that, this example here is more based on challenge groups. But a couple things I wanted to point out here that I love about this is that, we talk about always relating to them. Okay. So if somebody talks about something that they struggle with or anything like that, make sure you reiterate that and make them feel like that's okay. Like that's common. We do see that a lot. We do deal with people who are emotional eaters or who have late night snacks or, have other weaknesses or areas that they want to focus on. So, just let them know that's okay. I've struggled with that in the past, or I've known somebody who has struggled with that as well. And, then that helps you to provide them a solution in your response. So, here, let's just stick with this. In your response, you would just say, I also struggle with emotional eating, and basically challenge groups are the one thing for me that finally made sense. Or you can say, if you didn't struggle with the emotional eating, you could say we've had challengers in the past where, they've said the challenge group is what made sense for them and what knocked or helped them overcome that. So basically, I'm not going to read this word for word. I think that, you guys can download this document and use it and plug it in. But the one thing I did want to talk about in this that is kind of a change of perception that I've had when I'm messaging back and forth now is the whole idea of the different levels of membership, so to speak. Okay. And so let me get to it here.
Well, what about that part? Go down a little bit. Right here. Oh, no, that's not the one.
No, that's
It's
not the one.
You
Yeah.
passed it already, I think.
But anyway, I'm going to talk about it then, since I'm not finding it right on the page, because I'll just get lost in the words here. But basically what she has it down to is that there's two levels of membership when somebody asks about joining a challenge group. And the first one is as a challenger. So if they buy a challenge pack and they do not get a club membership, or they do not sign up as a coach. So if they just buy a challenge pack and don't sign up as a coach, then they are now a challenger. Okay. So what that means for them is that they have the ability to be in one of your challenge groups. Okay. So one 30-day group. And then at the end of that 30-day group, that's basically it for that challenger membership. Okay. Now, you could still put them in the Keep It Real with Stay True group and everything like that, or your own customer group. But as far as a focused challenge group, they have access to one. Okay. Now at the end of that, if they want to upgrade to a coach and buy a coach membership, then they can. And, that's where we would encourage them to invite a friend or a family member to join in the next challenge group with them. So they've become a coach now. They will have a customer immediately. The second membership, if you guys haven't caught on yet, would be a coach membership. So basically, you go from the base membership, which is the challenger, to the coach membership, which is basically laid out to the tune of, when you sign up with a challenge pack, you can also become a coach, and it normally costs $40 to become a coach, but with the challenge pack purchase, that $40 is waived. And so the nice thing about getting the coach membership is that most customers, I think in her example, she uses 95% of the customers continue on using Shakeology. So they will save 25% on all future orders of not only Shakeology, but any of the other products that they would buy from Beachbody. And then that also, by purchasing a coach membership, allows you to be involved in unlimited or multiple challenge groups. Okay, so she kind of sets guidelines as far as, you have your basic membership, then you have your coach membership. And the thing I like about that is that as my experience, me personally being a coach, there's always kind of a sticky point with talking to people about becoming a coach and discount coach and using some of those words. And I'm trying to start to slowly weed those out of my memory and start utilizing different things such as a base membership and a coach membership, or a challenger membership and a coach membership. But with that, what that'll do is, telling them that they will also have the opportunity, by getting a coach membership, to, if they inspire anyone along the way, they can bring them in, and, they could make commission off of those sales as well. So you're kind of just brushing over that point. You're not really driving that point home unless this person is looking at it for a business opportunity. Like Tiffany, when we were talking earlier today, you said you knew it was a business opportunity. You were coming on board for that opportunity. So somebody like you, that's we could talk more about that. But I really think that giving them those two options when it comes down to buying the challenge pack, I think it will really help them to, here it is, just found it. So it'll really help them to understand, or just more easily accept the coach offer that we have. Because I think a lot of people would make awesome coaches, And a lot of people would want to be a coach, but it just sounds, I think we've I don't want to say over dramatized it, but we've over evaluated it. And it's almost like we are almost afraid to offer that to them, just because of the fact that, it's a business then. It's just not a membership. So I don't know. Do you guys have anything to add to that?
I just have a couple things to add. Can you put it back so I can see everybody?
Yeah.
I hate the screen share. A couple things to add. One is that we have, and I have said this before, but I am one that, like, I usually don't offer the coaching opportunity unless I know someone's looking for a side job or something. I usually don't offer it until they've done a 30-day challenge group with me and I know they like Shakeology, and then that's like an easy segue. But the reason that we're sharing this with you now is because a lot of the people in our upline that are very successful coaches, this is what they use. So this has been like kind of tried and true, and they sign coaches all the time because of this. Now, granted, not everyone is going to stay, or like some people will just be a discount coach forever, and that's fine. But the reason that I got more brave with offering the coach opportunity, and I have not done this, or I'm just starting to use Anita's script, but you have to remember that, there's like 250,000 coaches, Beachbody coaches. Not all of them are working their business, but if you don't offer this opportunity to someone, especially even if they are, even if you don't offer it on day one, but if they're liking the products and you have not offered this to them, someone else is going to. So don't think of it as a scary thing or as you feel like you're being salesy. I mean, there's some people that I just say, at this point, because I know you're enjoying the products or I know you're enjoying Shakeology, I just want to let you know that this is available to you. So I do have to change mine a little bit and be a little braver with offering it from the get-go. But I just think, sometimes you write these messages or you friend request someone and you're kind of nervous about it. Just do it. Just like hit send or hit friend request and just see what happens, because you have to get out of your comfort zone really to make changes. And I definitely have had to.
And, because I was skeptical about this at first, honestly. And then the more people I talk to that have been utilizing it and listening to their success and listening to, well, what if this happens? So what if they say, no, I don't want to be a coach? And, then basically you fall back to the challenger, but then to the challenger membership, but then you can always say at the end of that, listen, you've done awesome in this challenge group. I'd love for you to continue on. Do you have any friends or family that you'd like to bring into the next one? And at that point in time, you can upgrade them if it makes sense to them. If they're going to keep using or drinking the Shakeology, you do have the option then to still upgrade them, and they can get that $40 coach fee waived at that point in time as well. That, as long as somebody buys a challenge pack, that $40 coach fee, when they do make the decision to sign up as a coach, can be waived. It doesn't have an expiration date on that. So as long as they have a history of having bought a challenge pack, that $40 coach fee can be waived. Anything else you want to?
No. Do you guys have any questions for Dan? I want to ask you a quick question. Do you know so one of my coaches who was just a discount coach, she went and she canceled her coach membership at the beginning of the month because of money. She was going to have to take a break from Shakeology. But now she might join again because someone wants to buy Shakeology from her. Does she have to pay the $40?
I don't know if she has to pay the $40, but normally, obviously, if you cancel your coach membership, you have to wait unless you sign back up with the same coach.
Yeah, she was going to sign back up with me, but I couldn't find it. I'm going to call, but I couldn't find it in the back office to see, like, can she just reinstate it and pay her monthly coach fee, or does she have to? And this,
Yeah, I don't know. You probably have to reach out to coach relations to really, or compliance to Jemima. I do want to add a couple things on the invite process just to kind of bring it back to that invite topic. One, you may have noticed Glenn posted at the top of Stay True the calendar. It's in the pinned post. If you guys had seen that, we unpinned it for a while and now it's back. One thing that I want to point out is, as far as this invite process goes, is you have a lot of opportunity to practice. Okay. We start accountability groups every 2 weeks. And now we have it on the schedule to every third Monday, we're going to start a coach sneak peek. And every second Monday, we have on a calendar to start a free group. That doesn't mean we're all going to do the same free group. But if you follow that schedule and just plan to run a free group of some sort, starting the second Monday of the month, then that allows you to lead into inviting them into other things. So for instance, I am on day 3 of a clean eating challenge. I know Beth and Glenn ran one last week. I will probably roll into next month some kind of exercise free challenge. But free groups are good and beneficial because you get to practice to invite people to a group without them having to make any kind of commitment, without having to ask them to buy anything. You're just asking them to be a part of something that you're doing and that you thought about them. So now you're asking, you say, hey, I was thinking about you. I thought you might like this. So now you're thinking about them. You're asking them to be a part of something, which people like to be included. And then you're not even asking them to spend any money. So they're like, well, shoot, I'm in on that. And now it gives you some time to build that relationship that we're talking about so that you can then go from there and invite them into something else where it is more comfortable to invite them and it doesn't feel like it's out of the blue or you're being salesy or you're pressuring them in any way. So look at that calendar and stay true if you haven't seen it. And then the other thing I want to make a point is our products lead into this invite process because they are solutions. But for you to be able to effectively use these products as an invite tool, you have to kind of know them. So for example, Shay Stanford did the call this past Monday. If you guys had an opportunity to listen to that call, it was amazing. Shay Stanford is by far one of the most well-spoken coaches on Shakeology that there is in the network. And when you feel and understand the product the way she does, it makes it easy to recommend and offer people to try it because you really do understand the value and the solution that you're providing them. You're not just saying, buy Shakeology so I can make $30. You're saying, try Shakeology because I think 30 days from now, you might find that it will change your life. And you have to believe that and you have to know that. Okay. So knowing your products, I think, is a big one. And sharing your story, like she talks about, understanding why it works for you. And then the announcement, I don't want to overshadow the announcement. I don't want to sweep under the rug the announcement that Glenn made at the beginning of this, that the club membership is now free for 30 days. That's a huge invite tool to be able to say, look, sign up for this club membership. If you don't like it for 30 days from now, just cancel it. You don't have to pay a thing. You get to try Beachbody on demand for 30 days before you have to pay a dime. That's huge. There is no threat by say, man, you got Hulu? Have you done Netflix? Have you done any of this on-demand stuff? Beachbody's doing that now. Give it a try. It's 30 days free. Right. And now if they cancel the club membership, they're still a free customer of yours. You're building your customer base. And if they ever do decide to buy something down the road, then you're going to get credit for it. So don't be afraid to use the tools that you have, but you have to know those tools. And that's part of being plugged in, checking your coach news on a daily basis and understanding what we have to offer. The other tool that I think is beneficial that we underutilize is the Portion Fix. It's $40. They get all the 21-day fix containers, the Shakeology cup, and the meal guide. So most people, their problem is nutrition, right? So for $40, I can provide you a solution that is actually practical. So these are just some things that if you understand the tools that we have, they can be easier invite. It doesn't always have to be challenge packs. Challenge packs are great. But if you get them started on something else that is a little bit less threatening to them, they're going to be more likely to move forward into a bigger purchase later. So
yeah, no, that's very good points there. And that, just to jump on to the whole club or the club membership thing too, is that's a long-term potential residual income builder for us too as coaches. We always talk about, building your volume and getting your team volume up. And everything like that in order to produce residual income. Well, every 3 months you're going to receive about, $16 to $17 a quarter from all of those club members. So if you have, 10 people or 10 people who are club members, all of a sudden, that's another $160 every quarter that those 10 people you're going to earn in commission from them. So, don't, it doesn't sound like a ton of money, but don't downplay the compound effect that'll have on, your income and on your paychecks that we get every week. So that's another thing to keep in mind as well.
Yeah. So I know we're probably approaching about 30 minutes, Glenn. I don't mind doing Q&A, but I don't know if you want to record it or.
No, I'm going to shut off the recording now. So.